Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 24th. We're just going to jump right in here, Leo, and we're going to see what's going on for you. You have this leadership card. It says you're stepping into a role as a leader. You're ready. Your career will improve once you accept and step into your power. All your readings have been kind of saying this, Leo, that, you're kind of stepping into this like new power or it's like a new era. Right? It's like a new stage for you, especially for those of you with a business. I really, really think that things are really going to start picking up for you. So I love this energy, of course. I think that, or even if you're just like trying to promote yourself, it's very interesting as well. I get a very serious energy off of this King of Swords, and I'm not suggesting, I'm not suggesting that you're not serious, but I do feel that you are it's like you're taking things much more serious. So, but in a good way. It's like, maybe you kind of have been dabbling in a business, like maybe it just kind of has been a little bit of like a side thing. And it's like you're taking it much more seriously, and maybe you're kind of legitimizing it. Maybe that's a better way to put it, right? Is that you're making something more legitimate in your life. And this could be through like maybe you're like building a website for your business, or maybe you're getting an LLC. I don't know. That's what's popping into my head here. It could be a million other things, and it doesn't even have to just be business. It could be in some other area of your life as well. Like it could be love, it could be health, whatever. But I feel like you're making something. It's like you're taking the steps to make something much more legitimate. I hope that makes sense. You have the Three of Swords here. I feel like you have been doing some healing. It's kind of weird because I'm hearing like 6 years or something like that. It's like I feel like this is like your last 6 years. I'm not saying that your last 6 years or 8 years, maybe. I don't know. I don't really trust psychic timing at all. To me, the universe doesn't wear a watch, but what I would say here is that I kind of feel like for the past amount of time, let's put it that way, you've had some moments for sure, and maybe you've had some moments where you felt like you weren't going to be able to heal from it, whatever it was that you went through, and it looks to me like you're getting to the end of whatever this situation is. It's like, there's that saying what is the saying? Of course, every time in a reading where I have a saying popping into my head, I can never remember what I'm actually trying to say. But it's like, what do they say? Like God only gives his toughest warriors the biggest challenges or something like that. Someone will know. I'll pin it down below in the comments when someone says it. But, I kind of have that popping into my head where it's almost like the God universe, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like you've had these big challenges in your life, but it's like because you're the toughest, because you can handle it. And I feel like you're getting to the end of all these tough challenges that you've been experiencing. Again, I like to remind people that doesn't mean you're not going to keep experiencing challenges in life. That's the whole point of life. But I just think it's kind of like you're entering into this new era. Like I said at the beginning of the reading, that's really what I get from this. You have the Lovers here. Again, if you want love, there is a little bit of love here. I would be careful. I feel like saying be careful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Going this way, Six of Pentacles to the Four of Cups. Especially if you have love already, I think, unless you're going through a breakup with that Three of Swords, but if you are, you already know that. But if you're not, I think things are fine, is what I would say here. But if you don't have love, and if you're meeting a new person, I would be very careful if you start to see signs that this person is breadcrumbing you with that Six of Pentacles, because, I don't know, I just kind of get that feeling here, and, obviously, if you meet a person and they're not, then this message isn't for you. Take what resonates, leave the rest. But if they are, yeah, I would cut it off. Death card. I would definitely, I just wouldn't let it go further, is what I would say. If you like the person, as I always say, I'm a big fan of communication. Like tell the person like, hey, why aren't you giving me X, Y, and Z? Maybe they fix it. But if they don't, then it's time to, move on to something else. So the Three of Swords, basically the universe saying I meant what I said. So you're healing from like your past 6 to 8 years. With the Ten of Wands, this is why I feel like you are becoming more of an Empress-like energy. You have this manifestation card. You have this egg card at the end, which is a card of like rebirth. You have the Nine of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Doesn't matter what gender you are. I feel like you're embracing this very creative, kind of like abundant energy, even in love. Like you could be saying, I'm not wasting my time anymore. If a person, if they're not here, if they're not willing to give me my Six of Pentacles in balance, then I'm out of here. So you could be taking the lead in love as well. You could be being like, it's not like you're taking the lead. I feel like it's more like you're just saying, you're kind of like standing up for yourself. Duh. With the Lovers, you have the Strength card, I feel like you know what you have to offer. I feel like you know what you bring to the table, which I hate that saying, but still. I think you know what you have to offer and you're just standing up for yourself here, Leo, plain and simple. Same thing about in business. Again, if you're not getting your value or your worth, I feel like you're going to leave. Next, in the area of what you need to know right now, you have this manifestation card. It says manifest your desires, creation, power, resourcefulness, creativity, action, focus, potential. So I feel like you always get the word potential in your readings, which I think is hilarious. But I really see you stepping into more of this Empress energy. And I think the energy is more like that of creation, and I also in being creative but also manifesting as well. Normally I would say that the Empress would kind of represent a glow up, and I'm not suggesting that you're not having a glow up, but I feel like it's more of that kind of creative manifesting type of energy. You have the King of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. I get a very direct energy. Like I said, I also get this, I get a very serious, he does represent very serious energy, but I just get this very serious feeling like you're making something legitimate. You could even be making something legitimate in the universe's eyes. Like, it's like, again, sometimes I think we tell the universe, I want true love. Then maybe the universe brings us a test, right? Of some bozo that just looks good, who happens to have like a six-pack or something, right? Whatever you're into, I don't judge. And, maybe it's like a test. Like the universe is going to say, are you really just going to fall for the fact that this dude has washboard abs, or like make sure that there's something that his brains aren't rattling? Like, are you going to make sure that there's something in between his two ears, right? So I feel like for some of you, and when we do that, when we meet a person like that and we resist it and we say, no, this person isn't right, then the universe is like, oh, they're serious. So, again, I kind of get that that's what you could be making legitimate. You could be like passing tests, or you could just be very focused on just exactly what you want. You have the Six of Pentacles here. Six of Pentacles is like equal give and take, of course, but I feel like you are very focused on making sure you're getting what you deserve. Same thing in work and business as well. Again, if you are not getting what you deserve out of like out of work or out of business, I feel like you're going to be leaving situations behind and probably looking for something better. I also do feel some of you, again, there's like a ton of growth here. I mean, Empress can represent growing, but like in the sense of she has the wheat growing in front of her. Six of Pentacles, planting seeds. Nine of Pentacles, she's growing these grapes behind her. So your business or your finances are going to be growing in the near future. You have the Nine of Swords, got to get out of your head. I feel like you have to stop telling the old story, whatever your old story is. And that's the only thing I would focus on with that Nine of Swords, is not telling the old story about, past people, past things. Again, people wonder why they keep getting the same things over and over and over again. And I'm like, what? Well, why do you think? Someone left me a comment the other day that I responded to where they said, I keep attracting these, bozos basically into my life. And I said, and then they said to me that they wrote a letter to this person about all the things they did wrong. I'm like, you literally put into the universe, by writing a letter, you literally put into the universe the story, again, that you're not even living anymore because they left you, right? And it's like, it might sound mean, but it's like, you need to like burn that letter because you're just putting that story back into the universe, right? And so I always tell people, be very careful. It's like, it would be better to write a letter instead of doing that to a past bozo, and be better to write a letter to a future person that you don't know exists, that is perfect exactly as they are for you, right? With the King of Swords, you have the Knight of Swords. No looking back to the past. I do feel, this is the one thing I always feel for you, Leo. It's like, I would be very careful of those moments where you're kind of like going forward, you're getting very close to something, and then you go back to a past comfort zone. And I'm not talking about people either. This could be like in business. It's like maybe you think about trying something new, and before you get the momentum going over here, it's like you go back to the past. I hope that makes sense. I don't really have any good examples necessarily. It's like, I don't know, I used to work in advertising, and, I used to see people running campaigns all the time, like advertising campaigns, where they would like they'd be like, oh, $10. I'm like, what are you going to learn from $10 other than nothing, right? It was always the people that were like $10,000. Those were the people that made a bunch of money because they were willing to like learn, and they weren't afraid to risk it. And I'm not saying this has to do with money here. I'm just using this as an example. It's like, I think you maybe, or like, I'll just dip my toes in. I feel like this is saying you need to go all in on the things that you want to create in your life. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Hermit. I do see you becoming much more social, or expanding your social connections here. For some reason, I feel like this has to do with socializing. And, I feel like you've learned a lot of lessons about like people you can trust and people you can't trust. You even have the Four Cups here. I would open up a little bit with that Four Cups. I'm wondering if you are opening up, though. It's weird because I said that and my brain was like, no. they are opening up. So maybe you have been kind of like taking some risks as far as like allowing people into your life or trusting people again. But I'm not talking about love here. I'm talking about like, people that you work with or friends or whatever. With the Nine of Swords, yes, you have to leave a comfort zone. You have the Two of Wands here. Two of Wands about taking the lead, and it's also a card of progress. I do feel like you're making a lot of progress in business in general, but again, he's standing at the top of his castle. I always say that, he's got that city below him, or his village is below him, and it represents his comfort zone. So everything you want is going to be in kind of like pushing the limits, again, spending that $10,000. That's I'm not suggesting you waste a bunch of money here, but what I am suggesting is that you push it just a little bit, right? Next in what are we doing? The unexpected. This is the Empyrean Oracle by Threads of Fate, and it's really awesome. It's like a holographic animated deck here. But full disclosure, I have a business relationship with Threads of Fate, but if you are interested, they're launching 3 new decks that are like even more awesome than this deck, and I have a link for the pre-launch down below. It's going to be on Kickstarter, and I will be showing those decks off in a future video very shortly. But again, full disclosure, yes, I have a business relationship with them. This isn't sponsored, but I make money from them, or I will in the future. So you have this Needle card, and the Needle card I feel like is talking about your focus is very important because you have the Nine of Pentacles. She has that falcon on her hand there, and it is in the next row, but that falcon, it kind of represents the fact that she's training her focus on like what to focus on. I also kind of get something here about you doing something impossible, not like literally impossible, but just doing something that you think it isn't possible for you, or it's like you're accomplishing something much bigger. You have some big ideas, Leo, is what I would say. You have the Four of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Wands. It's like, why do I get the feeling that this is saying you've been playing it small? I feel like there's some big things that you want to do. And are all of your ideas going to work? No. But I would encourage you to like do some big things. I would encourage you to really, go for something, much, much bigger. It's funny. I was talking to someone about podcasting the other day. I'll just give you another example. And they were talking about, they're like, oh, I'm going to build up to some bigger names. I'm like, why not just go for the bigger names? Like, why not just reach out? Like, big names go on small podcasts all the time. I'm like, why not just shoot for the stars, And I get that feeling here with this Queen of Wands. I feel like it's encouraging. It's like saying, no, you don't need to play small. You're not meant to be small. That's the thing, is that you're not meant to be small, is what this reading is saying. I feel like you're meant to be big, Leo, and I feel like this is saying go for it. Don't just like, there's no difference, by the way. There's no difference between someone that's considered small or someone that's considered big, right? There's no difference. They're just people. So, I feel like you need to realize that it's like maybe you're looking at this as practice, or maybe you're looking at it as like you need to practice. And I'm not suggesting practice is a bad idea, but I feel like you need to go for the gold here. You have the Queen of Cups. Your heart is guiding you at this time. She has this trophy right here, this cup. To me, it looks like a trophy, and to me, it kind of represents the fact that she really values her heart and what her heart is telling her to do. So, go for the gold here, Leo. You have the Four of Cups. You've had a lot of disappointments in the past, but those are past disappointments. Those are your old story. I feel like you need to start telling yourself the new story. I would start looking for evidence like of your new story as well. Or I would create evidence. With the Four of Cups, you have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, maybe you dealt with lying, cheating, stealing, right? This could be lying, cheating, stealing here. So I would be careful of a past person, Mercury retrograde. This retrograde seems particularly nasty for people coming back from the past. So, block or do whatever you got to do to avoid someone that lied, cheated, or stole from the past. But I would also say that Seven of Swords you always get. Seven of Swords is a card of tactics. So it says there might be some better ways to do the things that you want to do in life, but you just have to open up to those better ways. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Page of Cups. Yeah, definitely could be new love, coming in for you here. But again, I feel like this person is like immediately giving. I'm wondering if you have two people. Like maybe one person looks good, but they're not. Maybe the other person, there's some sort of difference here. It's like maybe one person seems boring, but I feel like they're not. And again, I feel like they're much more giving, and like the other person is out of balance, or they don't give to the situation. So again, if you're meeting two people, like I feel like this is saying pay attention to the energy exchange, right, between the two people. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Do you have the King of Pentacles? I thought you did. Am I making that up? I must be. So never mind. But anyway, I feel like you're focusing on your resources. I feel that there are more resources at your disposal as well. The Queen of Pentacles is the card of resourcefulness, and actually right here you have the Nine of Pentacles. So it's like some of you could be needing to go for the gold, because this reading is saying like you have the resources, so like don't sell yourself short, go for it. At the end here, for messages from your future self, you have this Fate card. We have the eclipse. Well, I'm shooting this the day before the eclipse, so definitely a time of fate or fated events. I kind of feel like more of a creative energy here, where it's like you're birthing something new, something that you've been learning a lot about. Page of Pentacles, Five of Cups, Nine of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is a card of like, studiousness. It's a card of learning. So I kind of do feel that you have been learning about like either something new. For some of you, I'm getting like a new location as well. Didn't I say this to you recently? Pretty sure it was you. It's like maybe you're moving somewhere where you didn't think you would ever move. I don't know. That's popping into my head, where it's like maybe you're learning about a location or something. That feels very random, but I would say if you are, then I feel like you could be moving there. Definitely could be communication from a new person as well. I would pay attention to communication as well. I feel like, again, it's kind of weird how I see this Six of Pentacles, especially if you're like thinking about two people or talking to two people. It's almost like, I'm not saying you have them mixed up, but it's almost like you feel like one person is holding back. I don't think they're really holding back. I think they're just reserved. So, but I also feel like they give more if you really pay attention. I feel like then there's like another person where it's like they actually hold back a lot if you pay attention. So, I would like pay attention to those two things. Mercury retrograde as well. So, make sure that you are clear. You have the Five of Cups here. You've had a lot of disappointments, which we already talked about with the Four of Cups. There is something in all your readings that I've done for you, Leo, for a while that I believe is really encouraging you to kind of like let go of disappointments, or to look into the things that have disappointed you and like let them go. There's like a lot for you to be grateful for with these two cups behind you here. I also feel like, again, I do get that feeling of like going for like a famous person here. I'm not talking about love. Like, I don't know, that podcast thing popped into my head, and I'm not suggesting that's what you're doing. I'm just saying, like, I feel like you're going for something big, right? Especially in work or business. And it's like, maybe you don't get like the big thing, maybe you just get the two cups. But those two cups are still going to be the lead to this bridge and this castle over here. So just because something doesn't work out exactly how you want it to, doesn't mean that it isn't working out, is what that's saying to me. You have the Nine of Pentacles, again, probably your most important card here. I do feel like you're building a lot of success. I feel like you're very focused as well. And, that's like a big word in this reading, that you are laser-like focus on the things that you want to create, do, be, or have. Let's see. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Magician. Yeah, I feel like you're attracting a new beginning into your life. You're attracting something more balanced, more successful, whatever it is. With the Five of Cups, you have the Queen of Wands again. So Queen of Wands encourages us to be bold, assertive, to like really go for the things we want. We have to be very focused, but we also have to like really, really go for what we want with the Queen of Wands. And that's exactly what I would do here with the Queen of Wands. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Moon card here. I would focus. The Moon says things, I do get that feeling here. It's like a good reading, but it's like things are not going to be like immediately clear to you right away. The Moon can represent mysteries, fantasies, illusions, but there are mountains in the background of the Moon, and those mountains represent achievements. And so the Moon, to me, really says, don't get off your path. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on like the big thing, whatever you're trying to accomplish here in this reading, and like don't get off your path. So that's kind of what I get here. We're going to pull 5 main themes now and see what else could be going on this week. You have this Vase card. It says Secret Admirer. That's the other thing, is like, again, if you're giving to you could be giving to one person, and maybe this is the thing, you don't see this new person yet, but if you're giving to a person who isn't giving back to you, then you're selling yourself short. So I feel like the universe is saying like, hey, there's like something much better that's coming in for you if you want love. You have this claw. It says, be careful, don't take risks. I wouldn't take any unnecessary risk, but I kind of disagree with like not taking risks at this time, because I think that it's a really good time to take calculated risk. And I also think it's good to take risks, as in probably a terrible time to take risks with money, right? So I wouldn't take any risk with money, but I think it would be a good time to take risks of, again, reaching out to like a mentor, or, if you have a podcast, reaching out to that big name. I think those types of risks that aren't going to hurt you in any way, really, maybe it hurts your ego if like someone says no, but big deal, right? I think those types of of risks would be a good idea. You have this bridge. It says, successfully overcoming a problem. I see you solving a lot of problems. We kind of talked about this, how, like, I'm not suggesting your life is getting easier, but I do think it is getting easier. Like, you're overcoming challenges and difficulties. You have this lily card. It says spiritual love. Yeah, very spiritual connection. Again, I get something about like the way, again, I can't get over this. It keeps popping into my head. It's like the way that you see this person at first, I feel like that it's like they're much, much deeper than that. It's like, again, if you meet a new person, it's like I think you'll like them, but I don't know, maybe I get this feeling like maybe you think they're like a goody two-shoes, or maybe you think that they're like too nice or something like that, but I actually feel like they're not. I feel like they're very deep, and I do feel it's like a spiritual connection. So like, don't be, again, as long as they're giving, as long as you like the person, I would keep it going for a little while just to like see how it goes. I think you'll be surprised. You have this wheel card. It says indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. This is where, I'm getting that you need to go for the goal. You need to go for that big goal, wish, or dream, or really kind of like do something hard right now, because I feel like it'll break you out of this wheel energy in a big way. So, that's what I would do there. But pretty good reading here, Leo. So thank you for being here. Again, remember, check out Threads of Fate, new launch down below. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.